welcome to another episode of Gospel Diary. I'm your host Gloria, and of course, I'm always happy to have you here with us. Today, we are discussing a timely and important topic, of course, which concerns every one of us, no matter your category, and that is beyond resolution, preparing for real life in 2026. You know how the saying goes: New Year, new resolution. Every year we begin with resolution, new plans, new goals, new energy. But somewhere between January and February, real life shows up. Plans change, pressure builds up, and even motivation fades. Maybe the problem isn't that we don't set goals. Maybe it's that we don't prepare for real life. Today, we are moving beyond resolution and having an honest conversation about what it really takes to prepare for 2026. So today, I'm joined with three amazing guests who are ready to share with us what is needed to be prepared for this new year. First, we have Grace Oye. Grace Oye is an educator, dynamic entrepreneur, and creative professional. She has a strong passion for excellence, leadership, and empowerment. Grace Oye is a first-class graduate of agricultural science education, currently serving here in Gombe State. She is also a professional baker, as she goes by the name Chef G. She blends discipline, creativity, and entrepreneurship in real life. We are glad to have you here with us, Miss Grace.
Thank you so much.
Our second guest is Peter Adenigba. Peter Adenigba is a graduate of English from the University of Ilorin, who recently conducted his service year. He is a writer, a storyteller focused on social impact. He has participated in leadership programs such as Harvard Aspire Leader Programs and SDSN Nigeria. During his service here in Gombe State, he worked in leadership and community role, using creative communication and advocacy to promote sustainable development. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Peter.
Thank you.
Lastly, we have Phineas Isaac. Phineas Isaac is a creative writer, emerging photographer, and entrepreneur who uses creativity as a tool for purpose and impact. He manages a reading hub that promotes a culture of reading, thoughtful dialogue, and personal development. Guided by strong Christian values, Phineas is passionate about storytelling, mentoring, and helping young people live intentionally and make meaningful contribution to society. You are welcome, Mr. Phineas.
Thank you so much.
So let's dive right into it. When people hear New Year, they immediately think resolution. But experience has shown that intention alone doesn't always survive reality. Let's start by unpacking why that's happened. So to all of my guests, I want to push this question to every one of you. So I want to hear your perspective on this side. So when people hear New Year, they think resolutions. From your experiences, why do resolutions often fail by February? I'll be starting with Mr. Phineas.
All right, thank you so much. I'm grateful for the chance to be here to speak on this topic. Well, looking at the theme, New Year, New Resolution, and from my own perspective and experience, the reason why resolutions crumble by February, that's at most, is because of a lack of system, like a very sustainable system. It's not enough to say, okay, let me say for someone that runs a reading hub, it's not enough to say, okay, this year I want to read. Okay, that's a good goal, but it's not something that is achievable, that is sustainable, because there is no system. And that's why I said there must be a system, is because you must have a routine, a process on how to go about it. So for now, let's say I set a goal, okay, I want to read books. That's a very vague goal. You must be able to break down that goal, okay, to say that, okay, this year I want to read maybe 30 books this year. Okay, you can now break it down to, okay, monthly. How many books am I going to read monthly? Then now monthly, you can now set aside a time daily whereby you can be able to read the book. So for me, from my own perspective, there is no system. The New Year resolution is just as good as just writing it on paper, and that's where it ends.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Phineas. So it's not about writing goals. It's about having a system, having strategic system that can help you through the year. Thank you so much. Now, right for Miss Grace, what's your own perspective about this question?
Well, thank you so much for having me again. For me, I think New Year resolution fail before February because people confuse commitment with excitement. You know, when the New Year comes, everybody is happy. New year, new life, new goals, new resolutions, and all of that. But they lack that commitment. They lack that zeal to carry through. And before February, when activities comes up and different tasks and then responsibilities and the bills start coming, they forget everything. And just like the first speaker mentioned, you need to set a system, build a structure that will work for you, break down those goals into small daily actions, and then by then you'll be able to achieve your goals.
Thank you very much. So you actually need to be committed to all of the goals that you've written down. Thank you so much for that insight. So right, so Mr. Sir, what do you have for us?
All right. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here. It's an honor. And I would just like to add to what other speakers have said. They really said nearly everything. You know, most of resolution fail before the end of February because it's based on excitement. And when the pressure of the year sets in, you know, routines are resolutions that cannot back up with actions. You know, they are easily, you know, they are able to fall apart. So when you have a resolution, they are most at best wishes. These are the things I want to do. But when you don't put actions, when you don't sustain them with actions, they are bound to crumble. So what makes resolutions to stand is when you support them with habits. You have a system of these are the things I want to do, and you have a goal, you know, like routine. If it's to have a healthy lifestyle throughout the year, you set a goal. I will eat healthy food this year. I will work out in the morning. By this time, you set the time, and you are accountable to it. By so doing, you know, one of the things setting action and setting routine does is that it creates trust in you. Consistency. It helps you to trust yourself that, okay, if I'm faithful to this, then I can do anything. So that's one of the things that, you know, when you are doing that, you know, you're able to, you sustain throughout the first month, and then you are consistent, you sustain throughout the second month. You know, consistency build up motivation. So each day you are faithful to yourself, you are faithful to your promises, it gives you this momentum to continue by the each of every month. So that's my.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Peter. Just as our guest has said, 3 key things. You have to be committed, you have to put actions, and of course, there need to be systems to all of these your goals. I believe our viewers out there are getting 1 or 2 from them. Again, Mr. Peter, looking back at your service year, since you just concluded your NYSC, what were the biggest realities you didn't prepare before NYSC?
All right. You know, as I said earlier, consistency, personal discipline, actually, because, you know, when you talk about consistency, you are talking about being disciplined to what you want to do. So during my service year, you know, a lot of responsibility. I wasn't expecting that. You know, juggling with my PPA, church leadership, and then personal development. The ability to combine those 3 were really not easy. So I had to, you know, have like a task, a to-do list. These are the ways I want to, you know, get my responsibility done. I'm being faithful to it. You know, before I came for the NYC, all those things are not in place. They were maybe okay, friends that check up, accountability partner, but at NYC, people don't really care. You are now on your own. So the personal discipline, is something I would say I didn't really prepare for, but I was able to develop during the service year that now I can say it's really helped and sustained my service year and made it a memorable experience, a memorable service year.
Thank you so much for that reality. Yes, you have to be consistent, and of course, personal discipline builds up consistency. So, in whatever it is that you do, you need to be consistent. And for some of us that are coming in into NYSC Forum, just know that it's going to take a lot of your time, but then you need to be focused and you need to be self-disciplined. Thank you again for that. Again, moving on to Mr. Finehas. You work closely with creatives and young people who are trying to live intentionally. From what you've seen so far, what kind of preparation do many people overlook when entering a new year like 2026 that we're currently in?
Okay, so from my experience so far, I would say is having an honest review of what happened last year, because when you don't take stock of what happened last year, the repeated patterns, the things that happened, why some goals were not achieved, why some goals were achieved, and all of that, then there's no way one can be able to, achieve or go further with the next year goals. Because if you don't have an honest review about what happened last year, the same cycle is going to repeat itself again in the new year also still. So for me, I believe that when you have an honest review of what happened last year, then next year is going to go smoothly and well.
Thank you so much. So you need to know where you stand. Have an honest review of what you were or what you have done last year, and that can take you into the new year. Thank you so much again, Mr. Phineas. Now moving on to the next phase. One of the fastest lessons real life teaches is about money. Not just about earning it, but managing uncertainty, rising costs, and the pressure to figure things out quickly. Preparing for 2026 means being honest about financial realities, not just repeating motivational quotes. So everybody, like all my guests, I want to hear different from your different perspective. How should young people realistically think about money in 2026 beyond motivational talks? All right, Miss Grace, I'll start with you.
All right, thank you. For me, I think young people should start seeing money not just as something that they can get overnight. They should start like it's a new year now. You can start setting a goal. Okay, what do you want to do for this year that will earn you money? And then there are a lot of things they can actually do. Like me, I'm a baker, and having this side hustle has actually helped me. Serving with NYC and the 77k allowance has really not been sufficient. But with the little money coming in from my side business, it has really helped me. So young people can get a side hustle they can do, monetize their skills, and then from there they earn money, then they save, they invest and reinvest, which will help them build a sustainable source of income.
Thank you very much. So you have to be realistic about money. Don't just think about it as something that just you need to earn. You have to sell goals. Is it business plans? Whatever it is that you want to do, you want to monetize your skills, then go ahead and do that, because this is a new year, and of course you need to get something doing. Thank you so much. Mr. Phineas, what do you have for us regarding this?
Well, as regards that, I'll say money flows in the direction of value. So you must have something valuable to give in exchange for money. And in this dispensation, especially for us that are Nigerians, we know how the situation of things in the country is. So, but thank God for the exploration of the digital space. We have access to data to learn so many skills. So I would say just diversify your skills, just like our speaker has said. She learned baking skills, and which has helped her in her service here and all of that. So diversify your skills, make sure you understand the value of money, and see how you can be valuable so that money can flow in your direction. So
thank you very much. Money flows in the direction of value. So what value are you giving? What problem are you solving? So you actually need to think about that. Thank you once again. Mr. Peter, what do you have for us?
Okay, money actually should not be seen as a miracle, but as a tool. And it's not about positive thinking. And many people think when they have this positive mindset about money, then they will have money. Money does not come that way. It comes by our wise decisions. decision that we make. How am I going to spend my time? Because time is value, and value comes. When you create value, you get money. So investing your time in profitable actions will bring you a sustainable source of income. And then when you get that money, it also boils down to not spending it based on pleasure driven expenses, or like peer pressures, because your friends are buying this. You invest in skills or things that will sustain your growth, that will add another set of skills that will bring you value. And then when you are valuable to people, they pay for your value, they pay for your time, they pay for your skills. So investing that money in things that will sustain your growth, sustain your value, so that you can get increased income.
Thank you very much for that, me, Mr. Peter. Yes, just as he has rightly said, money is not a miracle. It doesn't just come down like that. You have some certain things that you need to do before you can get all of this. So, and sometimes it's not about just reading those books. No, you have to put actions. What are the things you need to do before you can get all of this money? And what do you do with that money that you have gotten? Just as you has rightly said, the youth of nowadays, it's not about pleasure and every other thing. Your money needs to, of course, create values, and it needs to solve problems to the society. Thank you again, Mr. Peter, for that. So, Miss Grace, I want to directly ask you this question because you are a chef, a baker, and all of that. So you have this entrepreneurship zeal. So I would say, as someone currently serving and also running a business, what financial pressure feel most real right now, and what do people outside NYSC often underestimate?
Okay, thank you. The financial pressure I'll say that is most pressing right now is trying to balance all of the expenses around me right now. Talk about feeding, talk about transportation, planning to save for establishing my business, and even sending some things home, and all of that. It brings a lot of pressure to me financially, and thankfully the skill, of course, is helping to support a little of that. And then how people outside NYC underestimate some of those things we go through in NYC is the mental load. Like there's a lot of pressure on us. They'll be like, you're earning 77,000. Copas, you're enjoying, you're having a lot. You can save this, can save that. But when you come into the system and you see all of the expenses lined up for you in the month, when the 77K allowance comes in, and then you just write, okay, I'm buying this, I'm buying food stuff at so amount, I'm doing this for so. What will be left is just a little amount. So I think that's one of the financial pressures
Yes,
on me
trying
right
to
now.
balance business then with the service year allowance. Of course, that is not very easy. But so far, the business has also pushed. Thank you so much for that. Um, yes, Mr. Phineas, from your experience mentoring and building creative work, what mental shifts help people survive seasons where progress feels slow and unclear?
Okay. Before I will address that question, I want to make this statement. No progress is slow.
Okay.
Yes, no progress is slow, except if you want to experience what I call a viral success narratives. That I want to blow syndrome. No progress is slow. In as much as you're putting in the best, putting in the effort, following the established process and structures, every progress counts. So let me establish that.
Thank you very much.
Then talking about mental mind shift for creatives and young minds is that you need to establish a system that helps you, because when it comes to working, or let me say pursuing your goals, carrying out your tasks, there will be times that you overextend yourself, and of course it will reflect on your health, lack of rest and all of that, and sometimes it lead to burnout, it leads to illness and all of that. but then one needs to factor in a system. I I learned this from someone. He called it pick me up cruise. That's how he called it. That is, it's more like a backup plan whenever you are down. Of course, there will be down times because there will be sometimes your work, your tasks will make you overextend yourself. But you should have a backup plan for such moments so that you will not be lagging behind in whatever it is you're doing. So that's why you need to establish a system. I'm very big on having a system that will help you to bounce back so that nothing is lagging. Nothing is lagging. Sometimes I learn from our GS. There will be times that we know that our GS is tired, but we still feel the impact of the anointing whenever he speaks, preaches, and prays. That shows that his system that he has built is still helping him even in his old age. So we need to have a system that is sustainable to be able to help us to bounce back. So that's how I
Thank you
address
very
that.
much. So it's all about system. I have a system that is sustainable, but I want to bring you back. Can we be practical about the backup plan that you mentioned earlier?
Okay, let's say having a system now. Okay, okay, let me use an example of reading. Okay, let's say I decided that okay, I'm going to read at this time, let's say from 5 a.m. till 6 a.m. That's my reading time, and it happens that I'm not feeling fine. No, I'm not feeling fine. Of course, I need to rest and all of that. So, for the fact that at that particular point I'm resting, I'll have another backup plan. Could be that okay, maybe in the evening time I can decide to pick up the book. I may not be able to read the amount of pages for that day, but at least I read something that counts. Yes. So
Just like
that's
you are still showing up.
yes. That's what it means. Just just have to bring out a system that can help, even though you may not be able to achieve fully that goal, but at least you'll be able to move closer to it.
Thank you very
Yes.
much for that insight, Mr. Phineas. So you also have to have a backup plan, even with the system that has been set up already, so you don't get too much overwhelmed. Thank you so much for that. Now, moving on, we are going to be going into the career session. For a long time, many of us were taught that once you graduate, things will naturally fall into place. But the world of work has changed and preparation now looks very different. So I'm asking us, in today's Nigeria and global space, do you think degrees alone are enough, or has the definition of prepared changed? Do we think our degree that we have gotten are they enough for the work out there and the Nigeria of today, or the definition of preparation has changed? What do we think, Mr. Peter?
Well, the value of the degree has not changed because they provide the foundational knowledge we need, but they are not sufficient on their own in the present age that we are. You need to back them up with some skills, some such as some skills such as communication skills, the ability to adapt to new systems, and then the ability to work in a team of people who have dissecting opinions. Many a times people find it difficult to work with people, so that's one of the skills you need to incorporate into your aside the certificate. And then ability to communicate your idea very well is very important. Communication skill now is one of the skill that will give you an edge in the market, in the beyond the certificate, which most times they don't teach in the school, they don't teach in the four walls of the class. So having those skills will enable you to stand out amongst the among your peers, among the people looking for a job, and then sorting out to single you out, and then creating that adaptability nature, having that adapt to the new system. Now we have AI, we have technology, going increasing day by day. So if you come to that level that you can work in a system that demands those technology, those AI, then you'll be at a greater, how do I call it now, at an edge more than the other persons.
Thank you very much. So the value for our degree has not changed, but it all depends on you. You need to build up those skills that are needed for the work out there, the communication skills, and every other things that you feel that is actually needed to be able to catch up with the world out there. Thank you so much for that. Miss Grace, what do you have for us?
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, just as he said, the importance of education cannot be overemphasized. It's very, very important we get degrees and the certificates and all. But of course, you should get something else doing alongside your certificate, because your certificate will not sustain you in our present Nigeria. You need to have something, a system running for you. Can get any skill. It could be digital, like freelancing, copywriting, graphics designing. There are lots of them. And then you could also be engaged in physical skills like mine, baking. It could be hair making. It could be fashion designing. Just something worthwhile that can sustain you. And then when you add that up with your education and with your degree, you definitely do better than someone who has all of these skills. Let's say the baking and fashion designing, but does not have the degree, because school actually provide us with the knowledge and then experience that we really need to push whatever we are doing to a greater height.
Thank you so much. So, our guests are telling us that the degree alone, of course, the value has not depreciated, but it is not enough. You need to get other things doing that would sustain you. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Phineas, what do you have for us?
Okay, I'll still follow the chain of thoughts of my previous speakers. You know, education gives us a platform, like gives us a leverage. For instance, for someone like me, I studied history and international studies. So it was on campus, while on campus, I learned how to speak in public, like because you have to present papers, defend your projects and stuff like that. And it was there I discovered how to write and all of that. And today in this dispensation, communication is there. You have to speak to people, and we have content writing, we have copywriting. These are other skills that one can learn. So certificate is good. It has never loses its relevance. However, with the way things have been evolving in this dispensation, one needs to diversify by learning skills, especially problem solving skills. So I won't call it certificate, I don't know how they call it, certificate. You must know something that can help you to provide solution to people's problem. So just learn a skill that can address people's problem. Someone mentioned an example that, okay, if you see Dangote now, if you have an opportunity of meeting Dangote, what will happen? The person will okay, so for some persons they will ask for either money, contract and all of that. The person say for him, he will look for something that he can use to add value to either his Dangote's business, something. And that's someone thinking about how to solve a problem. So if you think about how to solve a problem to meet the needs of people, then you're good to go. With your certificates, the whole world is at your feet. So that's what I would say.
Thank you very much. That was very insightful. So you have to have problem solving skills. There's a book that says where there is problem, there is money. So where you have problems, that's opportunity for you, and that's where you can actually get money. So all of these things that our guest has said still boils down to you having skills. Your degree, your certificate alone is not sufficient. Have other things doing. Thank you so much for this insightful message that you've passed across to our audience. Back to Mr. Peter. During your service year, what specific skills or habits did you build that you can now realize was more important than your certificate?
All right. The ability to stay consistent under pressure was actually one skill or habit I developed because there are many things, expectations, responsibilities that came up along the line that I need to show up to fulfill. So the ability to come up with plans and then build a system, as one of our speakers rightly said, is what actually has sustained me. Back on campus, I said earlier, we have people that like an accountability partner that was helping. But here, all man to himself. So you have to come up with a plan that will sustain you, and that's what I did. I came up with a plan. Oh, I wake up 4 a.m. do this, do that. No, by 5 a.m. do this, do that. 6 a.m. do this, do that, and then stay consistent to those plans even when pressure sets in, and then you know that you are keeping a promise to yourself. Not that okay, I said I will do this, then tomorrow there's no motivation, and then you don't want to do it. I know people ask, how do I stay motivated? You don't stay motivated. You stay consistent. It is consistent that build momentum, and momentum build motivation. So it's the ability to stay consistent that has actually helped me from my service year that really I don't have when I was in my undergraduate studies.
Thank you very much. So you still have to stay consistent. And like you said, it's not motivation that keeps you, it's consistency that would build momentum, and that will actually build motivation. Thank you so much for that. Alright, so moving into the next phase. I would be directing this question, of course, to everybody. So it says technology and AI are changing work fast. How should young people prepare without becoming overwhelmed or distracted? Miss Grace. Yes, Miss
Okay, with this world of technology that we are in, everything is changing and you can do virtually most of your work with AI. So young persons like myself, we should rather use AI, this tool, to enable us carry out our tasks on time and very effectively. And also we should be wary not to be distracted by it, because there are a lot of distractions with it. In school now, most students don't want to read. They just want to rely on AI, everything AI, assignments AI, project AI. But that should not be so. AI should not steal our thinking ability, should not steal our proficiency, it should not steal the mental advantage that God has given to us. So when we are making use of it, let's still remember that we should be masters of our mind and not AI controlling us. Rather, we should control it.
Yeah, be masters of your mind. AI, technology, they are supposed to be co-pilots, not the master of our mind. We ourselves should be the one controlling AI. Thank you very much for that insight. Prof. Has, what can you say?
Well, what I have to say is that AI is a welcome technology, and it's a good thing that it came, and that's because it shows that the world is evolving and things are changing rapidly at a faster rate. In short, sometime I was reading a book that was written by Nigerian Mr. Akin Alabi. When he made his projections, into 2030, 2050, looking at what I'm seeing now, I'm like, this one, that information is obsolete already, and that's what AI has come to do. So what I have to say is this is just as our first speaker has said, AI has come to help us. So we should see how we can harness it to make our tasks more efficient. But it should not replace our thinking. It should not replace our thinking. There's a limit to what AI can do. It should not replace our thinking, but we can use it to be effective in our work, in our task. As a result of AI now, we have tasks that can be automated. That okay, you can just give it to AI, and you have your own time to do some other things that you want to do. So AI is a welcome idea, but however, we should not allow it take a major hold of our lives. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much for that. Whether we like it or not, artificial intelligence has come to stay. But then we should not allow that to take hold of our life. You have to be wise in your use of AI. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Peter.
All right. As the other speaker have rightly said, AI should just assist, not replace. Right? It should assist us and then help us to fast track our activities, not in a way become a substitute. That the fear of many today is that AI has come to replace their job, they will be sacked, and then robots will take over. Really, no. It's the people that can actually find their way around the AI, manipulate their way around it, and their tech service. Those are the people that will be employable in today's century. So the ability to be able to combine to utilize the advantages that AI has brought is what will give us an edge above other persons. So, and then we should be careful. I read some time ago of in UK a child that committed suicide with the aid of AI. So we should utilize it very well. Know that AI can go to the extreme. It is the prompt you give sometimes is what determines what it gives you back, the response it gives. So we should be careful the way we use AI. Know the ethical natures, the ethical we should be careful with the ethics of AI, and then don't go to the extreme that you are suggesting things to AI, how to commit suicide, how to do this. So we should be careful and know that AI is not a human. Human has the control of this is where I should go, as the limits, but AI does not.
Thank you so much for that. Everything actually has its good side and bad side, but then it depends on how you utilize them. So, Miss Grace, I want to ask you quickly. You've been seeing success stories online about people's businesses that are in line with yours, but then how do you personally manage comparison and stay focused on your own preparation?
Okay, well, actually, it's true. I've been seeing a lot of success stories online, especially bakers that are top and are making it already. But then I try to remind myself that social media just shows us highlights and not the process. So for me, while I'm in the process of building a brand for myself and building my own, like say, business or company, I'll just stick to the goal and just ensure that I am not comparing myself to the top bakers. They've gone through their own process and they are now at, will I say, a ladder. So while I'm building up, I'll just stay true to my own process and be focused on my progress and ensure that I'm better than my yesterday and I'm making my little steps at a time until I get to a great place too.
Thank you very much. Rome is not built in a day, so you have to be consistent and stay true to your process. That many people that are online, they have gone through that process. They have gone through their own back and forth, and what they are showing us, just as our guest has said, are highlights, not how they actually started. So this year, you need to stay focused and actually prepare. Thank you so much, my guests, for those insightful message. So again, when life becomes unpredictable, plans alone aren't enough. What keeps many people grounded are the values they live by. So I'll be asking, in unstable times, what personal values or beliefs help you stay grounded and make better decisions? Mr. Peter,
What personal?
what personal value and beliefs help you stay grounded and stay focused in trying times, in unstable times?
Well, I believe that God created me, and then He has created me in His image to create. I mean, to be creative and then to have initiative ideas. So that's one of the things I believe. That's one of the value I also dear. I believe in God. I believe that God has given me that innate nature to bring to life ideas, to be able to initiate things. So when plans is not going as expected, I believe that it's just the phase. It's just a phase, not a destination. I believe that if I press more, if I go back to God, if I read the Bible, if I ask God for directions, there will be clarity. It's just a phase that God can still give me direction, because God cannot be stuck, and so I can't be. So I believe that God is the one that created me, and He has given me this innate ability, inward ability to be creative. Another thing is, aside the fact that God give me the ability, I also need to be disciplined. So one of the value I also there is discipline. Discipline is not being hard on myself; it's being kind to my future. Right? If I'm hard on myself now, if I deny myself of some comfort now, later in the future it will tell. I will appreciate it. I will look back at today of inconvenience, of discomfort, and then I will thank myself for denying myself of things that seems pleasurable now, but later we can't, we not count for my future. So those are the two things I can pinpoint for now.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Peter. So, two things, God and discipline. So, the G factor is very important. Of course, God is our present help in times of trouble, in times that we are so unstable. So, we need to still take our ground on God. And of course, we also need to be very, very disciplined. That will take us a long way through the year. Again, Mr. Peter, what inner preparation do you wish you had done earlier before you completed your NYC, earlier before you even start your NYC scheme, either mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? What were the preparation you think you would have done?
Well, I will have prepared for uncertainty, okay, because uh, I before I didn't know that delay, unanswered prayers, unanswered questions, sorry, and confusions are part of growth. You see them when you are stuck. You see them as maybe a setback, as an hindrance to your, but you don't know that it's a phase that is teaching you resilience, and it's teaching you, this perseverance to endure, so that you can have the desired outcome. So I didn't really prepare for that uncertainty, and then when I get to a point and then I don't know the way forward, sometimes I feel discouraged, but I get to realize that they are a process to the desired outcome. So and spiritually, I believe that preparation is not lack of uh God factor. It's not like when you are on the road, it's not that God is not present. Spiritually, I understand that preparation is not about having everything figured out, but being steady and believing in God, that God is working things out even when you don't see it. So I get to realize that, mentally and spiritually, God factor is very important, and then the ability to trust the process, to trust that you are growing even when things seems not to be as planned. You don't know the way out, but you are making progress.
Thank
So
you so much, Mr. Peter. Trust the process. This new year, especially this first month of the year, there'll be a lot of uncertainties. But as much as you have the God factor and then you know what you are doing, I tell you that you can scale through. Thank you so much. So as we wrap up, it's clear that preparing for real life goes far beyond writing resolutions. So let's leave our viewers with something practical. Miss Grace, if you had to give one practical advice for preparing for real life in 2026 beyond resolution, what would it be?
Okay, if I'm going to give a practical advice that will help you achieve your goals in 2026 beyond setting up resolutions, is to break down your goals into daily simple actions. That's that big goal you have for the year 2026, that big thing you want to achieve. Break it down into daily small little actions, small little steps that you take on daily basis that will help you achieve that goal. That is it.
Thank you so much. Break your goals into small little steps. You can have a big goals, but then still break them down. That can actually help you in this year. Thank you so much. Mr. Phineas, what do you have to say regarding this?
Well, all I have to say is just have an infallible structure. That's just it. A structure that can help you achieve your goals. It can be having a routine. It can be sometimes it could be a tool. It could be a tool. It could be having an accountability structure. Whatever it is that can help you achieve your goals. Make sure that is something that is infallible. Yes, it might not be impossible, but make sure that at least it's something that can help you achieve your goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So you need to have a structure, you need to have a system, you need to stay consistent. This year, always show up. Show up. Even in those little things, make sure it really counts. Thank you for staying with us till this moment. Remember, preparation is not about having everything figured out. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle what comes. Until we come by your screen next time, keep living intentionally. Do have a prosperous year. Thank you.